Our first question comes from Chris in Grove City, Ohio. Another question from Grove City, Ohio. Wow. No, just kidding. I'm 29 years old. I have a wife and 3 young kiddos based out of Ohio, and I have roughly $40,000 in student loan debt. I'm incredibly eager to get involved in real estate investing because of the wealth and financial freedom that it provides. So I've heard. My wife is supportive of my interest, but is concerned about our current debt. My question is, do you recommend waiting until you're completely debt-free to begin investing? My goal is to buy my first property and use it as a rental and letting the tenant pay the mortgage while making a little extra as well. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's bad to begin investing while still in student loan debt? Well, Chris, great question. Our answer is very short and succinct.
It's no problem.
Yeah. Debt is your friend in real estate. Some debt is bad debt, right? Credit card debt is bad debt. High interest rate, hard money loans can be bad in certain situations. Good debt is debt that produces income, and a debt that helps you control real estate where you have a tenant who's paying the mortgage and a little bit more, like you've explained here, that's good debt. And so the fact that you have debt now, a student loan is what it is. It's not a great loan, but at the time it is a means to an end, and it's great, and it's there, and it did the job, and hopefully you're using that great education, and clearly you are. So do you wait until every loan is paid? Absolutely not.
No, I think here's the deal, right? So this is linear thinking. This is, okay, I've got to do this before I can do that. So I've been reading this book called Bold
by Peter Diamandis and Stephen Kotler.
Yeah, How to Go Big, Make Bank, and Better the World. And in it, they talk about Richard Branson. And here's Richard Branson, of course, has opened Virgin Atlantic, Virgin, just the whole thing. Now he's building spaceships or whatever he's doing. And one of the concepts is he advances a lot of things concurrently. And you hear the talk about, focus, focus, focus. And so I'm going to say, look, in football, you can win with 4 or 5 different systems. In this case, we're talking about linear thinking. Okay, before I can save up money to make a down payment, I need to eliminate all my debt. Well, if you invest properly, you can probably make that $40,000 debt go away pretty quick if you catch the right market wave. Now, we can't guarantee you're going to buy a property that's going to go up in value, but credit right now is extremely inexpensive. And the idea of going into good debt is the idea of creating positive spreads, right? So if I can borrow money, say, for example, at 4%, and I can go buy a property that will cash flow at 8%, then I've created a 4% positive spread on that borrowed money. Plus I'm picking up the amortization, which is the pay down on the debt. Plus I'm picking up the depreciation tax credit, which means I'm not paying any tax on the positive income. Plus I am buying myself control of an asset which will respond favorably to the continued devaluation of the dollar. Now, right now, the dollar has been temporarily strong. But whether the dollar is strong or the economy is strong and there's inflation, or whether the economy is weak, you see that a lot of money gets printed to prop up the economy. At the end of the day, real estate tends to respond well whether there's inflation or even if there's deflation. Even the people, myself included, who got into trouble in 2008 got in trouble because they created negative spreads. They borrowed at a higher rate than they were earning, and they weren't able to liquidate the property because they were upside down. You don't have to worry about a property going upside down in real estate because there's no margin call. So if it's upside down, as long as it's positive cash flowing, I can control the property till the economy recovers.
And by upside down, we mean that you owe more against a property than it's worth, which is a temporary situation. And again, if it's cash flowing, it doesn't matter.
Right. So the key is if it's cash flowing, I can control the property until the natural cycles restore the value of the property. And if I'm buying it for the long haul and the production of income, I really don't care. If you buy a house to live in and you can make the payment, whether the value of the property goes up or down, it maybe bothers you, when you sit around counting up what you're worth, but ultimately you're still living in the house, you're still enjoying the house. It doesn't really matter to you. In any market, that house is ultimately going to get paid for by the tenant, and then you're going to end up with a property that's owned free and clear, paid for by somebody else. The sooner you get that process going, the better off you're going to be.
We're all about getting into more debt and not less, and that's a mindset. Now, here's the reality, Chris. You mentioned that your wife's concerned about it. So what matters a lot more than what Russ and I think about it
that's right.
is what your wife thinks about it. So you need to get comfortable and talk with her about what we just said, which is If I'm borrowing money that helps create more cash flow and net worth, that's a good thing. If I'm just going into debt to buy a big screen TV and a nicer car, that's a bad thing.
So let's go actionable right now, Chris, because I think this is important. Probably the best investment you could make right now is to maybe get your wife a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad, maybe play cash flow, maybe do a book study together, maybe attend a seminar together and begin to study investing together so she is understanding what you're understanding and you guys come to whatever investment conclusions you do together with the same level of understanding. That's the safest way to do it so she's comfortable and that you guys are both moving forward together as a team.
And with 3 small kids, we understand that might be a challenge, but I got a great word for you, babysitter. All right, so good question. Here's our next one. It comes from Ryan.